are 9 kids in one house, so that's pretty fun. So I've seen firsthand the craziness. So anybody that was like, oh my gosh, she has it all together, you guys, it's a perfect storm. That's what it is. I'll never forget one morning, we got back from working out. Her and I went and we came back working out, and the 10-year-old had I call it the murder knife, that really big one, and he's cutting a watermelon on the counter. And we're like, hey, Michael, what's up? I'm cutting a watermelon. Okay. I mean, freedom and independence, and Tracy is nothing but excellent, so we're not blown away by her what. So thank you, Tracy, for rising and challenging us all to rise, because the truth is, you guys, life is shorter than we think it is, right? And our friends here, they're in their 20s and 30s, I got something to tell you, it's happening, okay? And things are moving, and has anybody seen that movie with Jennifer Aniston and Jason Bateman called The Switch? Okay, it's not a Christian movie. It is one of my favorite movies, hilarious, and there's this famous line that in our family, she says, life is in session. So tell your friend, life is in session. Life is in session. I mean, it is happening. It is happening. And you guys, if we don't like what's happening, it is up to us to change it. It is up to us to change it. And Rachel Hollis says that if no one cares about your dreams except you. No one's going to make you go achieve your dreams but you. Right? And so what are you frustrated with right now? What's not working in your business? What's not working in your family? Is what you're choosing to do reflective of your priorities? Does your time with your kids, is your scoreboard even, the things that you're doing, the place you live, do those things reflect what you're passionate about? And sisters, I would just say, if they don't, come on, shake it up. Because life is in session. So shake it up. Have a conversation with your significant other and say, are we really living the life that we want? Are we living in a bunch of shoulds? Are we living in a box because we think we're supposed to? Because it's maybe a rule that we're following? Or what is my dream? What is our dream? What was our dream? And why do we quit talking about it, dang it? And shake it up. And so yeah, write that down, shake it up. Because really, let's ask ourselves, how can we shake things up? And so the book that I'm finishing up right now that I love so much that I'm pumped about, can you guys see my cool necklace? Can you see it? Is it on still the right way? What do you see? I was talking good about you, but you weren't here, so later they can tell you. Do you see it? Yeah, it's an arrow, right? Has anybody read The Last Arrow? Yeah? Okay. The Last Arrow. It's excellent on Audible because the author reads it, Erwin McManus, and it's powerful. Or you could just skip it and just life is in session and pull your head out of your butt, and that's what the book says. So there's the summary. But I want to give you a couple of high points, and I'm going to give you something tangible to take. And it's so cool how God does this because it piggybacks to what Tracy's doing. And so I'm excited to take what she's doing and add to this because I'm also going to show you something that's very empowering to your consultants. But here's a couple of short truths. God's plan for our life is actually larger than what you have in your mind. Mm-hmm. God's plan for your life is larger than what you have in your mind. But fear may have frozen you. If you're afraid to take that step because you might lose what you currently have, don't, because God's plan for your life is larger than what we've had before. It's larger. And I think about that. Have you guys seen that image of the little girl and she's holding on to her little teddy bear? It's a cartoon image, and Jesus is there, and he's down on his knee looking at her eye to eye. And he's got a giant teddy bear behind his back, and he has this look of joy and love. And she's like, I don't want to give it to you, Jesus. It's my teddy bear. And he's thinking, but I have something better for you. And that's pretty powerful, right? So, we need to shake him and let go of. You're not meant to be average. That's also the message of The Last Arrow. You're not meant to be average. How many times in life have we thought God failed us? Let's just be honest. But actually what really happened is that we quit. Ouch. Yeah. How many times have we thought that God failed us? My offspring quit. I didn't get my Cadillac. I had to turn in my Cadillac. I didn't get on target for my car like I thought. I didn't make DIQ. God, what's wrong? Why aren't you making this happen? Sometimes maybe we just quit. We must take responsibility for what is in our control. So the whole thing about the arrow is I was going to read, but there's not time. So you can just write down 2 Kings chapter 13. And I'm not very Old Testament-y just because I'm not history-y, like Tracy is, like history, like, ooh. I'm like more like into the Pauline epistles. Let's just have happy verses. Like in Philippians, I can memorize those, but I'm like, whoa, so some dude is like Jehoash, and he's like shooting arrows. And the bottom line is, the prophet says, the prophet Elisha says, okay, do this with your arrow, do this with your arrow, and it's all this symbolic stuff, but it means stuff. And then the prophet says, shoot, hit your arrows to the ground. And so the king's like, okay, because the king just does what he says because it makes him win wars. Okay. And so then he's like, okay, so then he hits 3 arrows to the ground. He's like, okay, now what? Am I going to win? And then the prophet, who's on his deathbed, gets ticked off. And the scripture actually says he gets angry. So I'm imagining him like, oh, he's like raging out. The prophet's raging out, and he says, you fool, you should have kept shooting those arrows. Why did you stop at 3? And in a loving way, why are we stopping? We have this life quiver full of arrows. Shoot them. Go read the book. Okay. All right. So hopefully maybe we'll shake a few things up. So in an effort to shake some things up, I'm also in an exciting time of growth, and that is my major focus with our team. And so a lot of that has been, it's funny, because Tracy and I haven't really talked about this, but a lot of that is realizing that my unit's not doing sharing appointments, or when they are, they're not closing them. They're half recruiting all these people. Like if they've already graduated the Pearl, so it's like this awkward thing where they're like, I got this. Whatever. And then I'm like, why? You said you're having these sharing appointments. What's happening? And so I didn't even fully realize that these people were being half recruited until I started training this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I never asked those last few questions. Okay, awesome. So when I was in DIQ, I'm one of those. I was in Mary for a while, and then I got mad, and then I did DIQ and CAR in 6 weeks. And earned my Cadillac 6 months later, and there I was. That's what I did. It just takes someone to get mad. Have enough D in me. And in that process of building really, really quickly, I used a team building questionnaire that my senior taught me. A team building questionnaire. It was just a front and back sheet. It was a Word doc. I added to the top of it in all caps red font that said, I'm going to the top of Mary Kay. I'd love for you to join me, but if you don't, it won't stop me. Because I needed to have that as a feeler and as a loving connection. Join me. But no, I'm not stopping. And so that was on the top, and I had a team building notebook, and I had a picture of the new director suit, and I remember because at the time it was this woman that was African American, and she had the most gorgeous caramel brown skin, which I do not, and so I looked really awesome with my head on her awesome body. She was also, and her pose was like on a stool or whatever, and she was like with awesome legs, and so it was my face on the top, and that was the front of my team building notebook, and I kept all the blank team building questionnaires in there, and I filled them out, and of course, I listened more than I talked, but it was the communication that I'm listening to what she's saying, and you're like, oh, yeah. Okay, those of us that have been in Mary Kay for a while, why do we get away from things that work? Hello, like, what are we doing? Because then we went through a phase in Mary Kay where we're all like, oh, we're just talking too much. Who cares about 4, 9, 13%? Just ask questions. What, if we have 5 minutes together, what do you want to know? And then you answer your questions, and you're done. Like, let's keep it simple. And I'm super simple. It has to be simple, or I would have quit Mary Kay years ago. But what I am coming back to and excited about is training and empowering our consultants with the team building questionnaire, because they don't have the confidence, just like the ticket game, because I do the same thing. They don't have the confidence to answer all those questions, right? So who knows Deborah Bishop? She's somebody like pioneer in Mary Kay, right? She's like awesome, right? So years ago, in fact, this says 2003 on it. Isn't that awesome? She had created this interview outline, and it's almost the same as my team building questionnaire that I say I'm going to have taught, like my team leaders and above, but I like hers better, even though I don't like the font, and I can't wait till I can get the editable version. I'm weird about fonts. Because there's just a couple things she works differently, and we all know that you can ask a question a little differently, and it's powerful, right? And it totally makes them think. So I'm going to go over this in 2 minutes, and then I'm going to post this file for y'all, because I think apparently I'll have some fancy group for this meeting, Facebook group. Okay, and then because I want y'all to have this, you might use it. Does anybody use Deborah Bishop's interview questionnaire already? Okay, so this is empowering them to hold sharing appointments. So what do? So when your consultant says to you, I'm going to be a team leader by the end of the month, and she has nobody, okay, great. And you just work the numbers. That's 5. Let's do 1 and 5 for them. 5 times 5 is 25. So I need you to go print off 25 interview questionnaires, and I need you to fill them out. How many of you filled out this week? Then for them, instead of this insecure, can we have coffee and I want to tell you about business. Like instead of whatever awkwardness of them saying, I want to recruit you, can we have coffee so I can talk you into it? You did say, I got to fill out 25 packets this month. Will you be one of my 25? I got to fill out packets. I got to fill out the packets. So we're calling it a packet, and it's just like Tracy and Jessica both said, it's the psychology of it, of just filling out the packets. Let's take out the emotion, take out the hormones, and whatever, and let's just fill out packets, right? It's the same as just have a sharing appointment, but it's not that easy for consultants. And I think this can help us as directors too, because you might go, it wasn't that long ago that Deb was like, okay, we had some contest. I'm like, oh yeah, I did my 30 faces. She was like, okay, well send me the list of names. And I went back to my tracking sheet, which wasn't a tracking sheet that month. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did 13 faces. And I swore I would have done like 40. But you don't know, and you think, oh, why am I not recruiting? How many sharing appointments are you actually having? Right? Okay. So it's just what we're most familiar with, which is, and you don't have to write notes on this because you're going to see the document, but just listen. You tell them the agenda up front. Okay, so today I'm going to ask you about you. I'm going to tell you about me. What's different about Deborah is that my questionnaire is she also says, I'm going to ask you if you have any questions, and I'm going to ask you what your interest level is. Also, I understand the opportunity may not be for you, but at the end, I need to ask, is this something for you? I just want you to know what to expect. So picture a consultant who's totally not confident, and all she has to do is read. So that is a requirement. She has to read. Literally, you don't even have to train them on this. They just say you have to read every word. That's the only requirement to do the packet. You have to read every word. So she's already telling her, I'm going to ask you. So instead of getting all nervous at the end, she says, oh, you probably don't want to do this, I'm sure, right? Okay, bye. And she runs off. You're actually asking. And then a couple of different things. When you're asking her about her, it's a lot more of a coaching conversation than an interview, right? So you are actively listening, and you're actually filling out different parts of this packet while she's talking. The first question you ask her, and y'all have done this before, if you have 3 adjectives that best describe you, what would they be? If you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be? That's really more profound than you would think, Because they go, and a lot of women don't think about who they are, but it tells you a lot, right? Because I was always trained, you ask, tell me about you, period. And that's a DISC, and they tell you, it tells you what their personality is, and that's still powerful. But this just gives them a little more, 3 words that describe you. The other day, my gal said, Jesus, mommy, coffee. Those were her 3 words. Hey, that's me too, yay, high five. And so then you're asking the same questions like, what do you love most about a job? What would you change anything, if anything? It's those same normal intro questions, right? But what you're doing with this packet is you're actually taking it, unstapling that first page, and you're looking at it like this. So while you're filling out this page, you're actively engaged in this page, and when she says mommy, and when she talks about her kids, about whatever she wants to change or whatever, you're over here, you're checking flexibility. And you're over here and you're checking no territories, which is that list of what people love about Mary Kay. We all have it memorized. But you're checking things because you're making it relevant to her, right? Like we don't blab about Mary Kay every little detail unless they want it. So then when you're done asking those intro questions, you give a couple bullet points. We'll just do a quick marketing plan. We buy it for $1, sell it for $2. We're called direct selling. We're not multi-level. This is how it works. And then you say, hey, from what I heard you say, which this really ups your respect with her and helps her to see that she's valuable. From what I heard you say, I think you really love that we put God first in Mary Kay and family second, and that we have flexibility. Would that be true? She's like, yeah, that would be awesome. Because you've been listening. And you're not like, and we get tax advantages, and we get you're not talking about the poor tax advantages of getting a hard time today. No, but I just talk about that to ladies that make a lot of money. I mean, really sharp, corporate-minded women, they really do care about the tax advantages. They need some tax write-offs. Okay, so you're still, and then there's a whole lot of questions that make them think. In this next section, when you guys are going to have to go study this, sorry, because I don't have enough time today to do the whole thing. But these are and once you do that, you're almost done because now you're in the closing. And what's happening is this is making you spend half the time on closing questions instead of just the last 5 minutes. And this is where it's really making them think, because here's, I'm looking at you right here. You're so cute. Yay. If you did this, what would you enjoy the most? That's kind of common, we ask that, but you're listening. What assets do you have that would make you an asset to Mary Kay? worded a little differently than normal, but still makes them think. If it takes 1 to 2 hours to an appointment, how many would you hold per week? Even if I wouldn't. Well, how many? 1? And your husband go, well, you know how they get, they'll go 3 or 4, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And then they flat out have to read this. Even if the girl's like, I would never have a party. If I show you how to do this, could you do it? They're reading it and they're waiting. That's a pretty ballsy question, right? Because the girl's like, well, yeah, I could if I wanted to. Then, if I could show you how to turn $100 into $1,000 in your first 30 days, could you find $100? Now, that's again something that we've probably talked about before, but maybe not in those words, right? And then in the packet, it's just here on the back, in the ugly Times New Roman font, to show her how to turn it, this is what you say. So the girl doesn't have to memorize anything. 3 classes per week equals 3 to 6 hours equals $200 equals $600. It has all the math right here, so they don't have to know it. You're not having to train them on that. And then they're having to read. Remember at the beginning of the interview, I told you I was going to ask you your interest level and if your interest made for you. Well, here it comes. ... On a scale from 1 to 10. I prefer the CBA, but it's okay. This was back in the early 2000s. We did 1 to 10 back then. But it's still good. On a scale from 1 to 10, based upon what you know so far, what's your current interest level, blah, blah, blah. 1, I would prefer the sharpening grass, all that. And then no matter what they say, they have to keep reading. Is there any reason why we couldn't get you started today? How would you like to handle it? Visa, MC, Discover, check, cash. They have to read it. And then it says, only do this if she needs more time. Why don't you take the pillow test? They want to know about this. When would be best to contact you in the next 24 hours? If she says no, please know we appreciate you, and you can be a talent scout. Okay, this is basically what we already do. Do y'all notice there's a couple of little things that are a little different? And do you notice that there's some questions that consultants never ask? And they're not going to go to that final question because they've already prejudged her from the beginning, and they're not even going to ask that last half. But here's the thing, it's got to be eyeball to eyeball. It's got to be toe to toe. It's got to be sincere conversation. It has to be a video if she's not drivable within a couple hours. And it has to be engaging. You can't be driving while you're doing this. You are filling out the packet. You have to train your people that. And it has to be, what was the other thing? And they have to read every single word. And so, does that kind of make you excited that you can have consultants just be like, fill out the packet? I mean, my top director friend is even handing them 6 and saying, this is how you're in your girls go fill out the packet and talk to me in 3 days. And then he goes like, okay. And they don't even, they're just reading. And of course you're doing layers of follow-up after that, but it's possible. And there's nothing else she needs to know than filling out the packet. Are you guys excited? Yay! Okay, so imagine having your parties with what Tracy trains, and then them doing actual sharing appointments because they have to fill out 5 packets this week. And what is going to change for the growth of our unit. So I'm going to teach you guys a word as I finish up. Will you stand with me again? Yeah, I'm all about motion. Life is motion. Motion is life. Woo! Okay, that's what chiropractors say, right? Okay, so if y'all don't know me, so here, say this word, Geronimo. Geronimo! Say it again, Geronimo! Okay, let's take off the ger and just say, okay, that's my word. That's what I'm known for. And so remember me, Animo. And when you're having a dumpy day and your hormones are funky, you go look in the mirror and you say, Animo! Because it makes you feel silly. And it means get excited. You can do it. Come on. Don't give up. So thank you guys. Yay!